Ẹbí lálá ìrì yẹ.
Wọ́n sì ti kìtì o.
A ní lálá ìrì yẹ.
Wọ́n tún ti gbogbo.
Súfì
Àwọn ni wọ́n wáyà mọ́rí o.
bẹ́ẹ̀
Àwọn ni wọ́n wó ṣì mọ́rí o. Tá ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ gbèsè o.
ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀dùn tẹ̀sán lẹ́yìn ràfẹ́.
Adémájà ò ti dé. Ẹlẹ́gbọ́n pa lọ́lọ́.
Ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀dùn tẹ̀sán lẹ́yìn ràfẹ́.
Láti o. Adémájà láti dé. Ẹlẹ́gbọ́n pa
Ikú
lọ́lọ́.
dákun má máa bọ̀ bọ́ yẹn.
Ara wa ni, ara wa ni, rábì o, ara wa ni.
Àrùn dákun má ṣe
Bàbá yẹn, ara wa ni.
Carnival Parade. It's an annual thing. You know, it's one of the heritage of the Brazilian descendants. And this is a culture that we Brazilian descendants cherish so much. And we devote our time for this. We have two cultures in this neighborhood. There's Fanti, and then there's Meboy. Those are the two culture synonymous to the Brazilian. And so every Easter Monday and every Christmas Day we have this parade. And it's a very popular carnival in our neighborhood. So all of us from far and wide, we ensure that we are on ground for this ceremony.
A very nostalgic feeling here, because my grandfather's house is about two streets away, Bangboche Street. So usually, during this time of the year, from 1958 until now, it was a yearly thing. So the feeling here is totally nostalgic. Actually, it's drawing tears, from my eyes, remembering those years that we paid pilgrimages to this, even though we moved to Sule from Olowogowo. But now, it's kind of coming back to your roots and then feeling that those years of your growing up again. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
the risen Christ, and it's also we are showcasing the culture of a great community, the campus, Lafiaji, Ologogo communities. This is what Lagos was, and this is what Lagos is, and we're very happy to celebrate it. And it's a continuum, and we hope by the grace of the Almighty we'll keep this going on.
And a festival that was brought about by the indigenous of Lagos. A mixture of people that some of them returning, some of them that came back here and were inspired by culture of Brazil. And this is something that they used to come together and celebrate that oneness of the sons and daughters of Lagos, you know, on this Lagos island. Yeah. So you have to understand that every Nigerian that you call Brazilian was taken away unwillingly. It's not as if they say, yes, I want to travel to Brazil. There were people that kidnapped them and tricked them, but a lot of them came back. They are survivors. There are people that, despite all adversity, they succeed, and they came back with money, with skill, with crafts, and they built out Lagos Island. So this is a way of celebrating us, celebrating our strength, the ability to survive through so much adversity and still come out on top.
Olóyè tó bá mọ nìyẹn ara wa ni. Kedere yàgbẹ́ dédé o. Kedere mo gbé dédé o. Olóyè tó bá mọ nìyẹn ara wa ni. Kedere yàgbẹ́ dédé o. Iye lolú o, ẹ má bí ayé náà, ẹ mú dòdò àrẹwà. Iye lolú o, alálẹ̀ olùyè. Tùfínà gbọ́nàgbà ìdí ṣàyẹ̀pá ní ẹ má ò nàkà. Iye lolú o, ẹ má.
You are cordially invited to the 3rd Annual Choir Festival with the theme Messiah My Father. The Choir Festival will feature the winner of the 2023 edition, New Wine Ensemble, the host choir, Tabernacle Choir, other competing choirs, and several observant choirs. Star prize 3 million naira, second prize 1.5 million naira, third prize 1 million naira. 10 observant choirs get 250,000 naira each, totaling 10 million naira, plus other consolation prizes and winners in other categories. Date is Sunday, 16th June 2024. Time 12 noon prompt. Venue Abraham Tabernacle, Oba Irinwale Road, GRA Shagamu, Ogun State. Chief host His Excellency Otumba Engineer Benga Daniel, FNSC FAENG, the Ashiwaju of Remo Christians. The Choir Festival, improving the art of singing in our churches.
The Daily Momodu Leadership Lecture Series cordially invites you to the inaugural Daily Momodu Leadership Lecture. Ààrẹ Daily Momodu is honored to present the inaugural Daily Momodu Lecture on his 64th birthday. The inaugural Daily Momodu Leadership Lecture, Intelligent Discourse. Topic: The Politics of Energy and the Way Forward. Speaker: Professor Bartholomew Naji, former Minister of Power, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Date is Thursday, May 16th, 2024. Time 10 a.m. Venue: the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs, Kofu Abayomi Street, Victoria Island, Lagos. Under the distinguished chairmanship of the former President of the Federal Republic of Ghana, His Excellency Dr. John Dramani Mahama. The Daily Momodu Leadership Lecture is a gathering of intellectuals for the discovery of innovative ideas and exchange of progressive knowledge under a non-partisan atmosphere. See you all there.
Hello, I'm Bimbo Oloyede. For almost 50 years, I've had the rare privilege of connecting with you, either at live events or through your TV screens, but you probably know me more as a news anchor. I want to seize the opportunity of my 70th birthday to raise 100 million naira for cancer research and the treatment of cancer patients in public hospitals. Cancer doesn't care, you see. It doesn't care about age or size or gender or complexion or organ. It simply strikes anytime, any day, anywhere. I have lost a daughter, a nephew, a brother, a niece, a cousin, an aunt, and my husband. I don't have to go into any more detail. It's enough to say that cancer claimed all of them. But at least during those trying times, I received help. Will you help me to facilitate research? Will you support this fundraising drive to provide items that every patient can use, no matter their financial status? I am convinced that I must do something significant to make life more comfortable for cancer patients. But I know that I can't do this alone. Our target is 100 million naira. So please don't wait for my fundraising team to approach you. People need your help now. The account name and the details are displayed on your screen. Please help me raise 100 million naira for cancer research and the treatment of cancer patients in public hospitals. Let them receive treatment with dignity and with hope. I am Bimbo Oloyede, and I thank you.
Conceptualized by the ace multilingual broadcaster of immense talent and creative genius, Prince Bisi Olatilo, Chairman CEO of Biscon Communication Global Media Network 25 years ago, the Bisi Olatilo Show, BOS, has become the strongest, most admired and preferred global brand in the art of high society celebrity entertainment broadcasting. For the past quarter of a century, the ubiquitous The Bisi Olatilo Show, BOS, has become the face of Nigeria on global television, projecting the image of the country with our peculiar lifestyles, fashionable dress sense, and the different ways Nigerians celebrate from the north, east, west, and south. showcasing proudly Nigerian inimitable styles of celebration. From very humble beginnings to global recognition, the Bisi Olatilo Show, BOS, marks 25 years of captivating, non-stop entertainment. BOS celebrates remarkable entertaining brilliance, unforgettable moments, and lifelong memories. For 25 years, the ubiquitous Bisi Olatilo Show has charmed and captivated hearts of our global audiences beyond borders with enchanting and unmatched entertainment. The Bisi Olatilo Show, BOS, celebrates 25 years of incredible creative power as the most admired brand in the art of high society entertainment broadcasting. The Bisi Olatilo Show, BOS, is usually the first program to break the news about any big-ticket event across and beyond the shores of Nigeria. As the Bisi Olatilo Show, BOS, celebrates its 25th anniversary of setting the pace and pioneering a very compelling and engaging style of celebrity entertainment broadcasting, 25 years on and still counting, BOS has embarked on a new era of 24-hour TV broadcasting with Biscon Television. Biscon TV, which is on terrestrial and satellite broadcast platforms, churns out news, sports, politics, business, as well as lifestyle and entertainment programs 24 hours daily. Biscon TV, which has a very strong presence on YouTube, is the fastest growing platform on YouTube and other social media platforms. It's a magnificent transformation from BOS, a weekly program, to Biscon TV, a 24-hour TV station which churns out general interest news, sports, and lifestyle and entertainment programs. More years of brilliant broadcasting from the stable of Biscon Communication Global Media Network beckons.
Thank you for joining us today on Biscon Television for News. I'm Stella Opara. And coming up in the news, Philippines summons Chinese diplomat over South China Sea flare-up. Kenya appoints first woman Air Force head. Blinken urges Hamas to agree truce to help Gazans. And schools, offices shut as heavy rain returns to desert UAE. We'll bring you details of these and more after the short break. Welcome back. You're watching Biscon Television for News. Now the news in full. The Philippines have summoned a Chinese diplomat to protest Beijing's use of water cannon against Filipino vessels at a disputed shoal in the South China Sea, describing it as harassment and dangerous maneuvers. Its foreign ministry says the deputy chief of mission was summoned to hear the 20th protest made by the Philippines against China this year, one of 153 under the current administration, over the conduct of its Coast Guard and fishing vessels that Manila maintains are militia. The Philippines has accused China of elevating tensions in the South China Sea after its Coast Guard used water cannon and damaged 2 of its vessels while en route to the Scarborough Shoal on Tuesday to assist Filipino fishermen. The shoal, which has been occupied by China for more than a decade, has been flashpoints between the Philippines and China, on and off for years. Tensions have escalated there recently as the Philippines takes a more assertive approach in disputed areas, while strengthening alliances with the United States and Japan. China claims sovereignty over much of the South China Sea, a conduit for more than $3 trillion of annual ship-borne commerce, including parts claimed by the Philippines, Vietnam, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Brunei. Now, Danish shipping giant Maersk posted a huge drop in the net profit for the first quarter on Thursday, as Yemeni rebel attacks are forcing it to avoid the vital Red Sea route. Maersk reported a net profit of $177 million in the first 3 months of the year, a 13-fold drop from the same period last year. Turnover fell 13% to $12.4 billion, slightly lower than forecast by analysts, surveyed by financial data firm FactSet. The company, however, raised its outlook for the full year, citing higher demand and increased rates and costs due to the supply chain disruptions in the Red Sea. It now expects an underlying core profit ranging between $4 billion and $6 billion, up from $1 billion to $6 billion previously. Iran-backed Houthi rebels who control the Yemeni capital Sana'a and much of the country's Red Sea coast have launched dozens of attacks on ships since November, claiming solidarity with Palestinians caught up in the Israel-Hamas war. The United States in December announced a maritime security initiative to protect Red Sea shipping from the attacks, which have forced commercial vessels to divert from the route that normally carries 12% of global trade. Now in Kenya, the President, William Ruto, has appointed the first female commander of the Air Force. Major General Fatuma Gaiti Ahmed becomes the first woman in Kenya's history to head one of the military services. She was appointed alongside other leaders, including a new head of the armed forces, following the death of the military chief and others in a helicopter crash last month. Major General Ahmed has previously held other firsts in the military leadership that is dominated by men. She was the first woman to rise to the rank of brigadier and major general. She joined the military in 1983, serving under the Women's Service Corps, a woman-only outfit that operated as a separate entity from the other arms of the defense forces. They were an auxiliary service offering support duties such as administrative work, logistics, medical, and communication. The unit was disbanded in 1999, and it was only then that its members were allowed to join the main military services, the Navy, Air Force, and Army. The co-option of the unit provided more opportunities for women to participate in military duties and also allowed women like Major General Ahmed to rise through the ranks. Her rise has been seen as an achievement in promoting gender equality in the armed forces. We'll take a short break now, and when we return, we'll bring you the rest of the news. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're watching Biscon Television Foreign News. Now to the rest of the news. Hundreds of helmeted police swarmed the site of a pro-Palestinian protest at the University of California at Los Angeles, UCLA, firing flash bangs, arresting defiant demonstrators and dismantling their encampments. The pre-dawn police crackdown at UCLA marked the latest flashpoint in mounting tensions on U.S. college campuses, where protests over Israel's war in Gaza have led to student clashes with each other and with law enforcement. Hundreds of people with tents had set up encampments at UCLA, which officers told them to move or face arrest. Live TV footage showed officers taking down tents, tearing apart barricades and removing the encampment, while arrested protesters sat with their hands restrained behind their backs with zip ties. Students have rallied or set up tents at dozens of schools in recent days, calling on President Joe Biden, who has supported Israel's right to defend itself, to do more to stop the bloodshed in Gaza, and demanding schools divest from companies that support Israel's government. Meanwhile, President Joe Biden in his speech says students have the right to protest, but not cause chaos. Demonstrations are continuing at dozens of universities across the U.S. There have been more than 1,000 arrests in total. In another development, top U.S. diplomat Antony Blinken has urged Hamas to accept a Gaza truce plan, despite an Israeli warning that the army will keep fighting the Palestinian militant group after any ceasefire. Mediators have proposed a truce deal that would hold fighting for 40 days and exchange dozens of hostages for many more Palestinian prisoners. Hamas said it will respond within a very short period to the proposal. Hamas needs to say yes and needs to get this done, Blinken said on Wednesday, while in Israel on his 7th Middle East crisis tour since the war broke out in October. He later added that if Hamas actually purports to care about the Palestinian people and wants to see an immediate alleviation of their suffering, it should take this deal. Blinken spoke after visiting the Ner Oz kibbutz, which Hamas attacked on October 7, as well as Israel's Kerem Shalom border crossing with Gaza and Ashdod port, which Israel says will be used for aid shipments. Senior Hamas official Osama Hamdan told newsmen late on Wednesday that the movement's position on the truce proposal was negative for the time being, but that discussions were still underway. The group's aim remains an end to this war, senior Hamas official Suhail al-Hindi told newsmen, a goal at odds with the stated position of Israel's hawkish Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Netanyahu has vowed to send Israeli ground forces into Gaza's far southern city of Rafah, despite major concerns over the fate of some 1.5 million civilians sheltering there. And lastly, schools and many offices were closed across the United Arab Emirates on Thursday as heavy rains returned to the desert country, just 2 weeks after record downpours that experts linked to climate change. A lightning storm with high winds swept across the oil-rich monarchy overnight, with more than 50 millimeters of rain falling before 8 a.m. in some areas, the National Center of Meteorology said. Flooding was seen in some parts of financial hub Dubai and the city's airport, the world's busiest by international passenger traffic, cancelled 13 flights and diverted 5, a spokesperson said. State-owned Dubai-based Emirates and sister airline Fly Dubai both warned passengers of delays as schools switched to remote learning and public sector offices closed. But the rains were not on the scale of April 16, when a record 259.5 millimeters of rain left 4 people dead, blocked major roads for days, and forced the cancellation of more than 2,000 flights. On Thursday, little traffic was seen on Dubai's normally heaving 6-lane highways, and cars were abandoned on flooded roads near the sprawling Ibn Battuta Mall. Trucks pumping water were stationed in several flooded areas, as Dubai's drainage is often unable to cope with large-scale rainfall. Last month's downpour, which also killed 21 people in neighboring Oman, was the heaviest in the UAE, a majority expatriate federation of 7 sheikdoms since records began in 1949. And that's it on Biscon Television Foreign News. I'm Stella Opera. Thank you for staying with us.
EFCC and Yahaya Bello, corruption cases in Nigeria. Corruption in Nigeria has been a constant phenomenon, from considerable contract fraud at the top, through petty bribery, money laundering schemes, embezzlement, and seizing salaries from fake workers. It is estimated that corruption within the state apparatus costs the country billions of dollars annually. Estimates show that in the 60 years since independence, corruption has cost the Nigerian economy more than $550 billion. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission of Nigeria recovered at least $750 million in local and foreign currency linked to corruption and fraud in 2021. Nigeria's average score in the annual Transparency International Corruption Perception Index between 2014 to 2023 is 27 out of 100, as it ranked 145th most corrupt out of 180 countries. In 2022, the former EFCC boss, Abdulrasheed Bawa, says 978 corrupt Nigerians were convicted between January and September 2021, insisting that the agency was winning the war on corruption. The ongoing feud between the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission and the immediate past governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, began on the 17th of April 2024, when the EFCC accused Bello of money laundering and corruption to the tune of 80.2 billion naira. In a bid to arrest him, the EFCC stormed Bello's residence in Abuja. However, the attempt to arrest Yahaya Bello failed as his successor, Governor Usman Ododo, whisked Bello away. Amid the drama, the Kogi High Court delivered judgment in a fundamental rights enforcement suit, restraining the commission from harassing, threatening to arrest, or detaining the former governor. EFCC Chief Ola Olukede has vowed to prosecute Bello or resign, alleged that the embattled ex-governor withdrew $720,000 from the state's account to pay his child's school fees in advance just before he left office on January 27, 2024. All this has generated among leaders in the country and Nigerians generally. The immediate past governor of Benue State, Samuel Otom, has asked his counterpart in Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, to come out of his hiding and answer his case with the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. In the same vein, the senator representing Edo North, Adams Oshomole, says Governor Usman Ododo's interference in the former governor, Yahaya Bello, and the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC saga, is a breach of law, adding that Bello's refusal to show up in court also constitutes a breach of the law. The senator also urged citizens to speak up against breaches of the law, irrespective of who is involved. The EFCC, which is meant to prevent, investigate, prosecute, and penalize economic and financial crimes in the country, has been enmeshed in several high-profile corruption cases. Since its establishment, the EFCC has had run-ins with state governors over cases of alleged misappropriation of state funds. But because the Nigerian Constitution confers immunity from any form of trial and conviction on state governors while in office, the anti-graft agency will have to wait until such a state executive leaves office before they can swing into action. Some of which include Willie Obiano on 16 March, barely hours after handing over power to his successor, Charles Soludo. Former Anambra State Governor Willie Obiano was arrested by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission over a 42 billion naira fraud case and misuse of public funds. After his arrest, the former governor was flown to EFCC's Abuja headquarters but was released a few days later. Also, the former Zamfara State Governor, Abdulaziz Yari, was on several occasions grilled by the EFCC for alleged illegal financial dealings and misappropriation of funds, but he has never been taken to court. James Ibori, the EFCC filed 170 counts against the former Delta State Governor. It was learned that Ibori escaped the EFCC detention. Others include Ayo Fayose, an ex-governor of Ekiti State, former governors Joshua Darie, Bukola Saraki, and Godswill Akpabio. However, the EFCC has been criticized on its approach in apprehending culprits. The Commission needs to carry out thorough investigation and stop prosecutions in the court of public opinion and the media. To enhance their effectiveness in detecting, investigating, and prosecuting financial crimes, ultimately leading to a reduction in criminal activities. The EFCC Commission can, among others, consider the following tactics to improve their effectiveness in catching criminals. Leverage advanced analytics, data mining, and human intelligence to identify patterns and anticipate criminal activities. Encourage whistleblowers to report suspicious activities and offer rewards for valuable information. Work closely with foreign law enforcement agencies to aid and prosecute cross-border financial crimes. Also, utilize cutting-edge technology like digital forensics and biometrics to analyze evidence and link criminals to other crimes. Furthermore, the adoption of new technologies like AI, machine learning, and blockchain can track and trace illicit financial activities. Flooding, most common and recurrent disaster in Nigeria. Nigeria has two main climate seasons every year. The rainy season takes place between April to September, and the dry season, which is influenced by the Harmattan wind from the Sahara, is between December to March each year. Rainfall is one of the primary factors that can lead to flooding. Intense or prolonged rainfall can amount to water entering rivers, streams, and other water bodies which can exceed their capacity to safely contain it. This excess water then spills over into surrounding areas, causing flooding. The intensity and duration of rainfall can significantly impact the likelihood and severity of flooding. Climate change also plays a pivotal role in flooding due to a rise in global temperatures as the atmosphere can hold more moisture, leading to more intense rainfall events. Flooding is the most common and recurring disaster in Nigeria. According to a report in October 2022, flooding affected 34 out of the 36 states in the country and displaced 1.3 million people. Over 600 people lost their lives and over 200,000 houses were either partially or fully damaged. More than 2.5 million people were in need of humanitarian assistance, 60% of which are children. The World Bank has estimated the total economic damage from the 2022 floods, including damage to residential and non-residential buildings, infrastructure, productive sectors, and farmlands, at approximately $6.6 billion. Also, in October 2023, the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, issued an alert over the threat of rapid flooding along the River Niger and River Benue Basin, owing to the release of water from the Lagdo Dam in the Republic of Cameroon. According to NEMA, states such as Adamawa, Benue, Taraba, Nasarawa, Kogi, Anambra, Edo, Delta, Rivers, and Bayelsa were affected. In Adamawa State, reports showed that the floods caused a large-scale displacement of more than 8,504 households, which affected 51,043 individuals, the majority of whom are women, children, and the elderly, living in different communities in the state. The flooding caused infrastructure damage, of which include roads, houses, health facilities, IDP sites, schools, and other community facilities across 14 out of 21 LGAs in Adamawa State. Meanwhile, in 2023, the Director General of NEMA, Mansour Matazu, says Nigeria lost $4.6 billion due to flooding, which has contributed negatively to the nation's gross domestic product. The negative impact of flooding cannot be overemphasized, as it affects individuals, damage to agriculture, economic impacts, communities, and the environment. In 2022, cases of diarrhea and waterborne diseases, respiratory infection, and skin diseases were on the rise. In the northeastern states of Borno, Adamawa, and Yobe alone, a total of 7,485 cases of cholera and 319 associated deaths were reported. In light of this, the federal government, through the Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, Professor Joseph Utsev, has warned that 148 local government areas across 31 states are among the highly probable flood risk areas for 2024. The identified states are Adamawa, Akwa Ibom, Anambra, Bauchi, Bayelsa, Benue, Borno, Cross River, Delta, Ebonyi, Edo, Imo, Jigawa, Kaduna, Kano, Katsina, Kebbi, Kogi, Kwara, Lagos, Nasarawa, Niger, Ogun, Ondo, Osun, Oyo, Plateau, Rivers, Sokoto, Taraba, and Yobe states. According to the minister, high flood risk areas span from April to November 2024, with potential impacts on population, agriculture, livelihoods, livestock, infrastructure, and the environment. Meanwhile, the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has begun to put in place proactive measures to mitigate climate impact as well as flooding in the year 2024. The Commission says stakeholders with vast experiences in various fields such as agriculture, health, water resources, and infrastructure have been brought together to brainstorm so as to come up with actionable climate-related disaster preparedness and mitigation strategies that would assist in preparing for the responding to expected impact of the predicted climate hazards. To mitigate the impact of flooding in the country, the federal government needs to invest more in early warning systems to provide timely alerts to residents in flood-prone areas, giving them time to evacuate and protect their property. Implement strict land use regulations to prevent construction in flood-prone areas. Also, the federal government should invest in improving infrastructure, such as building and maintaining proper drainage systems, levees, and dams to prevent or minimize flooding, increasing public awareness about flood risk and providing education on how to mitigate these risks, such as proper flood-proofing techniques, can help reduce the impact of flooding. Finally, providing financial assistance to individuals and communities affected by flooding would help them recover and rebuild after the disaster.
The Daily Momodu Leadership Lecture Series cordially invites you to the inaugural Daily Momodu Leadership Lecture. Ààrẹ Daily Momodu is honored to present the inaugural Daily Momodu Lecture on his 64th birthday. The inaugural Daily Momodu Leadership Lecture, Intelligent Discourse. Topic: The Politics of Energy and the Way Forward. Speaker: Professor Bartholomew Naji, former Minister of Power, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Date is Thursday, May 16th, 2024. Time: 10 a.m. Venue: the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs, Kofu Abayomi Street, Victoria Island, Lagos. Under the distinguished chairmanship of the former President of the Federal Republic of Ghana, His Excellency Dr. John Dramani Mahama. The Daily Momodu Leadership Lecture is a gathering of intellectuals for the discovery of innovative ideas and exchange of progressive knowledge under a non-partisan atmosphere. See you all there.
You are cordially invited to the 3rd Annual Choir Festival with the theme, Messiah My Father. The Choir Festival will feature the winner of the 2023 edition, New Wine Assemble, the host choir, Tabernacle Choir, other competing choirs, and several observant choirs. Star prize, 3 million naira. Second prize, 1.5 million naira. Third prize, 1 million naira. 10 observant choirs get 250,000 naira each, totaling 10 million naira, plus other consolation prizes and winners in other categories. Date is Sunday, 16th June 2024. Time 12 noon prompt. Venue: Abraham Tabernacle, Oba Irinwale Road, GRA, Shagamu, Ogun State. Chief host: His Excellency Otumba Engineer Benga Daniel, FNSC, FAENG, the Ashiwaju of Remo Christians. The Choir Festival, improving the art of singing in our churches.
Hello, I'm Bimbo Oloyede. For almost 50 years, I've had the rare privilege of connecting with you, either at live events or through your TV screens, but you probably know me more as a news anchor. I want to seize the opportunity of my 70th birthday to raise 100 million naira for cancer research and the treatment of cancer patients in public hospitals. Cancer doesn't care, you see. It doesn't care about age or size or gender or complexion or organ. It simply strikes. Anytime, any day, anywhere. I have lost a daughter, a nephew, a brother, a niece, a cousin, an aunt, and my husband. I don't have to go into any more detail. It's enough to say that cancer claimed all of them. But at least during those trying times, I received help. Will you help me to facilitate research? Will you support this fundraising drive to provide items that every patient can use, no matter their financial status? I am convinced that I must do something significant to make life more comfortable for cancer patients. But I know that I can't do this alone. Our target is 100 million naira. So please don't wait for my fundraising team to approach you. People need your help now. The account name and the details are displayed on your screen. Please help me raise 100 million naira for cancer research and the treatment of cancer patients in public hospitals. Let them receive treatment with dignity and with hope. I am Bimbo Oluide, and I thank you.
Hello and welcome to Biscon Television News Roundup today. I'm Stella Opara. We'll begin with some of the stories that made headline during the week. On the national scene, Senate may reconsider Ningi's suspension, says Adara Modu. Military to court-martial 12 officers over Kaduna airstrike. In business news, House of Reps ask security agencies to clamp down on marketers holding petrol. On the foreign scene, France estimates 150,000 Russian soldiers killed in Ukraine war, says minister. And in the world of sport, Victor Ikpeba backs Finidi George to embrace MPFL talents for Super Eagles. Now the news in full. It was reported on Monday that the Senate gave a hint of a possible reprieve for Senator Abdul Ningi, representing Bauchi, who was handed a 3-month suspension by his colleagues for alleging that the upper chamber padded the 2024 budget to the tune of 3.7 trillion naira. The amount represents more than 10% of the 28.78 trillion naira budget passed by the National Assembly and assented to by President Bola Tinubu. Chairman of the Senate Committee on Media and Public Affairs, Yemi Adaramodu, gave this hint in a media parley in Abuja. The Senate spokesman used the opportunity to state that the suspension of Senator Ningi was a decision taken by 108 out of the 109 senators whose integrity was subjected to public ridicule. He noted that if Ningi makes a plea, the senators will look into it at resumption and then take merit of it. Now, it was in the news on Tuesday that President Bola Tinubu has sympathized with victims of the recent gas explosion at Itaoshin, Abeokuta North local government area of Ogun State. A statement signed by the President's Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Ajuri Ngelale, said Tinubu also sympathized with the Ogun State government and residents of the state over the tragedy. At least one person was reported dead, 6 others were injured, and 6 vehicles were burnt in a gas tanker explosion last Saturday at Itaoshin along the Abeokuta-Sango-Lagos Expressway. The explosion from a solitary gas truck rippled through the community, resulting in the loss of life and properties. Tinubu further commended Governor Dapo Abiodun on his valiant efforts to arrest the situation and immediately restore calm to the community. In another story, the military on Thursday announced its preparedness to court-martial 12 officers responsible for the airstrike on Tudunbiri village in Kaduna State, which led to the death of several civilians. On the 3rd of December 2023, villagers gathered in Tudunbiri to celebrate Maulud, the birthday of the Prophet Muhammad. However, a military drone on a routine counter-terrorism operation mistook their movement patterns for those of bandits. An airstrike was called in, leading to the death of 85 people, while up to 66 were injured. Although the Nigerian military leadership initially denied the airstrike, they later confirmed that security forces mistook the civilians for militants. President Bola Tinubu had ordered a thorough investigation of the incident. In the latest development, while addressing newsmen in Abuja on the activities of the armed forces in the fight against insurgency, the Director, Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Boba, said the drone attack was a mistake which the military was not prepared to condone. Now, we told you on Friday that the Nigerian Governors Forum, NGF, has emphasized the need for the government and organized labor to come up with a sustainable minimum wage in the ongoing negotiations. The NGF, which made the call in a communique issued at the end of its virtual meeting and signed by its chairman and Kwara State Governor Abdulrahman Abdulrazak, assured the Labour Union of Governors' commitment to pay the workers an improved wage. In response, the Nigeria Labour Congress and Trade Union Congress warned the state governors against defaulting on the new minimum wage that would be approved during the negotiations. During the May Day celebrations on Wednesday, the government refrained from announcing the new minimum wage, citing its reluctance to accept Labour's proposal. However, the Nigerian Governors Forum, in its statement, said it was assessing each state's government's fiscal capacity and the potential effects of different proposals to determine an enhanced minimum wage that would be sustained by the states. You're watching Biscon Television News Roundup. Up next is Business News. Stay tuned. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're watching Biscon Television News Roundup. Now to business news. It was reported on Wednesday that the House of Representatives Committees on Petroleum Resources, Downstream and Midstream, urged security agencies to clamp down on fuel marketers hoarding petrol and engaging in arbitrary increment in the price of the premium commodity. In a statement jointly signed by the chairman of the two committees, Ikenga Ugochinyere and Henry Okoje, the lawmakers said they reached out to the stakeholders in the petroleum distribution value chain to end fuel queues in the country. The lawmakers said they have engaged the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, the Petroleum Products Retail Outlets Owners Association of Nigeria, and the Nigerian Association of Road Transport Owners, among others. The committees noted that the disruptions in logistics supply have been taken care of, and the scarcity of petrol will be a thing of the past in the next few days. The lawmakers further accused some stakeholders of economic sabotage and asked security agencies to clamp down on them. On Thursday, the Minister of Steel Development, Shuaib Abubakar, said Nigeria spent $8 billion to import steel into the country annually, saying it has become necessary for the Ajaokuta Steel Company to work. The minister disclosed this during an interactive session with the House of Representatives Committee on Steel Development in Abuja. According to him, the revival of Ajaokuta Steel will cost money, and the ministry has written a 10-year document for the revival, which will be presented to President Tinubu. Abubakar said it was in his own interest for Ajaokuta Steel to work, adding that he was from Kogi State and must push for such interest. He further noted that the federal government paid $500 million to terminate the concessional agreement with Ajaokuta, adding that the ministry was working very hard to find a solution for Ajaokuta Steel. Now, we told you on Friday that as Nigerians battle fuel scarcity, Over 9,000 oil marketers are on the verge of losing their operating licenses, according to reports. As a result, the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria urged the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited to extend its final deadline for licensing renewal to July. It also appealed to the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Regulatory Authority to release 9,000 already processed licenses to its members. The association made the request known in a release signed by the National Public Relations Officer, Chief Chinedu Okadike, in Abuja. Recall that Ipman, in a statement, lamented the slow pace of marketers' license renewal by the NMDPRA. The NNPCL had placed a deadline of April 15, 2024 for marketers to renew their licenses or risk closure to access their customer express portals for the purchase of petroleum products from NNPC Retail Limited. But Ipman requested an extension, saying the extension would enable marketers to reconcile their licenses and reduce panic buying by members of the public, aggravating the present scarcity of petroleum products. You're still watching Biscon Television News Roundup. Still to come is politics news. Stay tuned.
This is Biscon Politics. The governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki, has approved a new minimum wage of 70,000 naira for civil servants in the state. The governor reviewed this while commissioning the new labor house in Edo State today. According to him, the new wage comes into effect on May 1st, 2024. This is as the Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC) battles the federal government over increasing the minimum wage to match increasing national inflation and skyrocketing food inflation. The inflation rate for March 2024 hits 33.2% from 31.70% in February, according to the National Bureau of Statistics (NBS). Food inflation also rose to 31.7% in March from 30% in February. The NLC and the Trade Union Congress (TUC) had demanded 615,000 naira as the new minimum wage for workers in the country. The labor unions' agreement was after the President Bola Tinubu, through Vice President Kashim Shettima, on January 30, set up a 37-member panel at the Council Chamber of the State House in Abuja. With its membership cutting across federal and state governments, the private sector, and organized labor, the panel was tasked with recommending a new national minimum wage. At the inaugural meeting of the panel, Shettima urged members to speedily arrive at a resolution and submit their reports early as current 30,000 naira minimum wage expired at the end of March 2024. In another news, the chairman of the House of Representatives Committee on Women Affairs and Social Development, Kafilat Ogbara, has called for the declaration of an emergency on the abuse of drugs and illicit substances among women and youths. She made the call in Mina at a 2-day North Central workshop on drug abuse, trafficking and violence against women and children in Nigeria. According to her, the legislature will require stakeholders' collaboration to tame the rising cases of abuse of illicit substances in the country. Ogbara also linked insecurity in some parts of the country to the growing intake of illicit substances among youths, calling for stakeholders' collaboration to tame the prevalence of abuse of illicit substances to rid the country of insecurity. Now, Governor Abu Kefas of Taraba State has assured the people of the state that the forthcoming Congress of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) will be free of rancor. Speaking through the party spokesman, Hendra Tarang Arame, shortly after his meeting with the State Working Committee of the party in Jalingo, the state capital, he expressed confidence that more people would soon abandon their political parties and embrace the PDP. The meeting, which brought together the State Working Committee of the party, was observed to be in preparation for the forthcoming congresses of the party. Assuring the people of the readiness of the party to organize free and transparent congresses, the party's leadership in the state, as made known by him, is committed to bringing rapid development to all parts of the states. He maintained that his leadership would positively impact the lives of the people, hence the need for all Tarabans, irrespective of political parties, to support him to succeed. The state government has solicited the support of the European Union (EU) and the United Nations (UN) in the fight against environmental terrorism and degradation in provision by Bayelsa and other states in the Niger Delta region of Nigeria. Governor Doyediri made the appeal at Otuan community in the Houghton Ijaw local government area of the state when he, accompanied by some foreign envoys, embarked on an assessment visit of facilities donated by the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime in the Riverine community. Represented by his deputy, Senator Lawrence Efujapo, the governor stressed that the challenge of environmental injustice confronting the Niger Delta, particularly Bayelsa State, requires urgent and sustained effort for redress, highlighting the sufferings of the people of the state, including the prevalence of strange diseases and high mortality rates occasioned by pollution from reckless oil exploration. He lamented that the life expectancy in the region ranks amongst the lowest in the world. The founding fathers of the PDP in the Lagos State chapter discussed the challenges confronting the fold, particularly why it has failed to win governorship polls in the state since 1999. At the leaders and elder stakeholders meeting, they resolved to forge unity and chart a roadmap for victory in the next general election. Former National Chairman Chief Olabode George said PDP should be positioned and projected as a viable alternative ahead of 2027, urging the party elders and leaders to reflect on the journey so far. He said they should brainstorm on where the chapter got it wrong. George said inclusion should be the watchword, saying that victory at the poll is conditional on unity. George said that the crisis in many PDP chapters should be resolved, and he also recommended that a zonal committee should go around the states and zones in the next 6 months to calm frayed nerves and encourage genuine reconciliation, lamenting that PDP is where it is today because of a self-inflicted crisis. He said reconciliation is the answer. Now, the Inter-Party Advisory Council (IPAC) has urged the KB State Independent Electoral Commission (KSEC) to conduct local government elections in KB within 3 months. IPAC State Chairman Alhaji Ibrahim Muhammad told Commission members this during the group visit to the head office of the Commission in KB. According to him, their struggle is to ensure sustainable democracy, which is only possible through elections, as all political office stakeholders are beneficiaries and products of elections. Therefore, it is surprising that such categories of people are slowing democracy at grassroots level. It could be recalled that IPAC was at the State Assembly complex for the same reason, where it raised concerns over the delay in the conduct of the polls and the need to review the existing local councils law permitting governors to appoint sole administrators for local governments. That's all on Biscon Politics Roundup.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're watching Biscon Television News Roundup. Now to foreign news. It was in the news on Monday that Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky said Russia is taking advantage of the slow delivery of Western weapons to go on the offensive. His comments came after the U.S. agreed a $61 billion package of military aid for Ukraine. Zelensky said some of the aid had started to arrive, but added that it needed to be delivered faster. He was speaking alongside NATO chief Jens Stoltenberg, who said it's not too late for Ukraine to prevail. The comments came after Russia said it had taken a second village in 2 days in the course of its offensive in eastern Ukraine. Russia said it had captured the village of Semenivka, which lies north of Avdiivka, which Moscow took in February. On Sunday, Russia said the nearby village of Novobakhmutivka had fallen into its forces. Meanwhile, Ukraine's commander-in-chief, Alexander Syrsky, said the situation on the front line has worsened in the face of multiple Russian attacks, and that Ukrainian forces had withdrawn from positions in the eastern Donetsk region. Now, on Wednesday, Israel reopened the sole crossing on the northern edge of the Gaza Strip, allowing aid trucks to pass through the Erez checkpoint, following U.S. demands to do more to address the growing humanitarian crisis. Reopening the Erez crossing has been one of the main pleas of international aid agencies for months to alleviate hunger, which is believed to be most severe among the hundreds of thousands of civilians in the enclave's northern sector. The Israeli government opened the crossing point on the day of a visit by U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, who met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and called for more humanitarian aid deliveries into the territory. The Erez crossing, primarily used for foot traffic, had remained closed since it was destroyed during the Hamas attacks on October 7 that precipitated the war. Colonel Moshe Tetro, head of Israel's Coordination and Liaison Administration for Gaza, said he hoped the crossing would be open every day and help reach a target of 508 trucks entering Gaza daily. Now, on Thursday, hundreds of helmeted police swarmed the site of a pro-Palestinian protest at the University of California at Los Angeles, UCLA, firing flashbangs, arresting defiant demonstrators, and dismantling their encampment. The pre-dawn police crackdown at UCLA marked the latest flashpoint in mounting tensions on U.S. college campuses, where protests over Israel's war in Gaza have led to student clashes with each other, law enforcement agents. Hundreds of people with tents had set up encampments at UCLA, which officers told them to move or face arrest. Live TV footage showed officers taking down tents, tearing apart barricades and removing the encampment, while arrested protesters sat with their hands restrained behind their backs with zip ties. Students have rallied or set up tents at dozens of schools in recent days, calling on President Joe Biden, who has supported Israel's right to defend itself, to do more to stop the bloodshed in Gaza, and demanding schools divest from companies that support Israel's government. Meanwhile, President Joe Biden, in his speech, said students have the right to protest, but not cause chaos. Demonstrations have continued at dozens of universities across the U.S. There have been more than 1,000 arrests in total. Now, on Friday, France estimated that 150,000 Russian soldiers have been killed during Moscow's invasion of Ukraine, Foreign Minister Stefan Seyune said in an interview published on Friday. Speaking to Russian independent newspaper Novaya Gazeta Europe, Seyune said Paris estimated total Russian casualties, including wounded, at 500,000 in the war, now in its third year. Russia has not disclosed information on its casualties. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said in February that 180,000 Russian troops had been killed in the war. Britain estimated that approximately 450,000 Russians have been killed or wounded in Ukraine. The BBC reported in April that more than 50,000 Russian military personnel have died, citing its own reporters, independent media group Media Zona, and volunteers. Russian President Vladimir Putin announced a special military operation at dawn on February 24, 2022, which has since turned into a bloody attrition war, isolating Russia from the West. Some military analysts believe that Russia could be on the verge of launching a major new offensive in Ukraine. Speaking about frozen Russian assets in the European Union, Seyune reaffirmed that the fund could be used to fund the defense of Ukraine against the invasion, but did not give specifics. You're still watching Biscon Television News Roundup. Up next is Sports News. Stay tuned.
Hello, welcome to Sport News.
Arsenal were having painful flashbacks to the nightmare moments that threw their Premier League title challenge off course last season, as a bump in the road threatened to become a giant builder at Tottenham. The Gunners never recovered from losing 2 goals leads in successive weeks at Liverpool and West Ham in April last season. Those results, the catalysts are for a collapse that saw Manchester City claim the title. Here, Arsenal were in danger of throwing away a 3-0 half-time advantage in the most unlikely fashion, but gathered themselves to close out a vital win that kept them top of the table with 3 points, with 3 games left. And the fact that Arsenal crossed the line this time may yet be the difference between a first Premier League title in 20 years and finishing second. Legendary Nigerian footballer Victor Ikpeba believes newly appointed Super Eagles coach George Finidi can turn the tide for the Super Eagles by giving players from the Nigeria Premier Football League (NPFL) a chance to shine with the national team. Ikeba, who sits on the Nigerian Football Federation (NFF) technical committee that selected Finidi, emphasized the importance of integrating domestic league players into the national setup, something past coaches haven't prioritized. Now, this move comes after a disappointing World Cup qualification campaign where the Super Eagles missed out on Qatar 2022 due to a heartbreaking loss to Ghana in the playoffs. Ikpeba acknowledged that the 2026 World Cup qualifiers will be a challenge for Finidi, but he believes focusing on homegrown talent offers a glimmer of hope. Ikpeba said, being actively involved in Nigeria football, Finidi understands the local talent pool. As a coach of NPFL champions Enyimba, he is in touch with the domestic scene and will provide opportunities for homegrown talent, just as he once emerged as a star player himself. Nigeria's quest for the 2026 World Cup hangs in the balance with the Super Eagles third in Group C, gathering only 2 points after playing draws against Lesotho and Zimbabwe last November. Rwanda and South Africa hold the top positions, making qualification a significant challenge for the new coach. This is where Ikpeba believes Finidi's focus on domestic talent can be a game changer by integrating skilled players from the NPFL. The Super Eagles can potentially build a stronger squad and overcome the hurdles in group. The Super Eagles are set to face South Africa on June 7 in Uyo, followed by a clash against Benin in Abidjan 2 days later.
Enyimba have been deducted 2 points by the Nigeria Premier Football League
NPFL for the disruption of the game against Doma United. The point deduction was equal to the NFF Disciplinary Committee's decision to overturn the victory that Enyimba had over Doma United. The match day was disrupted after 88 minutes with the scoreline at 0-0. Then Enyimba scored a goal which was initially admitted. Then the referee consulted with the assistant referee, one who raised his flag for an offside. The referee agreed that the goal was secured from an offside position. The referee was faulted for using an unorthodox means of consulting an outside broadcasting van outside the Enyimba International Stadium to arrive at a decision. The NFF has therefore ruled that the result of the match at the point of the start of the game after overruling the goal scored as offside is hereby upheld at 0-0. Enyimba dropped to third position following the verdict. The Aba Giants are expected to appeal the ruling. The match day 21 of 30 games between Remo Stars and Rivers United will be played on Sunday, 5th May at 17:30 GMT. Borussia Dortmund will travel to France for next week's second leg of the Champions League semi-final tie with a slender advantage after coming out on top in Wednesday night's pulsating opening showdown. Niklas Füllkrug's first half strike was enough to seal a 1-0 victory for Edin Terzic's side, who got a sensational performance from man of the match Jadon Sancho at a bouncing Signal Iduna Park. It was simply incredible that an action-packed end-to-end second half between two sides who also met twice during the group stage did not yield a single goal, while with Kylian Mbappe and Achraf Hakimi both hitting the post within mere seconds of each other, and the likes of Ousmane Dembele, Julian Brandt and Vitinha all going close late on. Gianluigi Donnarumma also pulled off a couple of key saves to thwart Marcel Sabitzer, with Mbappe similarly denied by Gregor Kobel. The result also means that the Bundesliga has now definitely beaten the Premier League to a coveted 5th Champions League spot, which will be bad news for one of the Tottenham or Aston Villa. Dortmund, meanwhile, are likely to find themselves as the major beneficiaries if they do not win the competition this year, given that they currently sit 5th in the Bundesliga table with only 3 matches left to play this time.
The Blues continue their excellent Premier League record against Tottenham Hotspur at Stamford Bridge on Thursday night, as goals from Trevor Chalobah and Nicholas Jackson helped them claim a 2-0 victory over the London rivals. It is not just one defeat in 32 Premier League matches against Spurs on home soil, and they were set on their way to another victory midway through the opening period when Chalobah rose highest to guide a superb header beyond colleague Mo Vicario. The Blues dominated in the first half and defended well throughout the second. They also added to the advantage when a Cole Palmer free kick crashed off the crossbar and Jackson was on hand to guard the rebound home. There were jubilation scenes around Stamford Bridge after the full-time whistle as their Tottenham tradition was maintained, and they have picked their favourite images for a hugely satisfying evening at Stamford Bridge. The Premier League will have just 4 teams in the Champions League next season after failing to take advantage of a new UEFA rule, and next season's group stage is already taking shape. The 2024-25 Champions League is set to look radically different to anything seen before. UEFA have already confirmed major changes to Europe's Premier competition. It will see 36 clubs compete in a wide-ranging league table. Teams will now play 8 matches in the group stages, with the top 8 in the league table earning an automatic spot in the knockout round. Those extra games are invariably seen an expansion to the competition. For further sides will earn spots next term, one place will go to a club that finished third in the 5th strongest league, while another will go to a domestic champion who has progressed through qualifying. Meanwhile, further invitations have been extended to leagues who have the best performing sides, this term based on UEFA coefficient points that has already been confirmed as Italy and Germany, who will each have 5 clubs representing them in the competition. In the Bundesliga, those sides have already been confirmed as Bayer Leverkusen, Bayern Munich, RB Leipzig, Borussia Dortmund and Stuttgart, while in Italy, Inter Milan, AC Milan, Juventus, Roma and Atalanta and Bologna will play in the Champions League. There needs to be a bitter pill for Spurs to swallow. The North London side were aiming to take advantage of the 5th spot to return to the competition. Instead, Manchester City, Arsenal, Liverpool and Aston Villa look highly likely to be the Premier League's representatives next term. And that's it for Biscon TV Sport News Roundup.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're watching Biscon Television News Roundup. Now to some entertainment news. It was in the news on Monday that the National Film and Video Censors Board, NFVCB, said it received and classified 274 movies produced by the Nigerian film industry in the first quarter of the year. Executive Director and CEO of the board, Dr. Shaibu Hussaini, made this known in a statement in Abuja. The NFVCB boss said the figure was provided by the Department of Film Censorship and Classification of the board in its first quarter report, capturing all genres of films approved by the board. He added that the report is for onward submission to the relevant federal government agency as input for the compilation of the nation's gross domestic product for the first quarter of 2024. As indicated in the report, films in English language constitute the chunk of the films produced during the period under review. He noted that 250 films out of the numbers verified and approved were produced in English, while others include films in Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa, and Hindi languages. Now, we told you on Wednesday that Nigerian megastar Burna Boy has continued to record historic feats that push the boundaries of the global commercial success of African music. In another monumental feat, Burna Boy became the first African artist with the highest grossing venue in the United States. In a post by Touring Data on social media, it was revealed that Burna Boy's 2024 concert at the TD Garden Arena in Boston grossed $1.593 million, thereby surpassing the previous African record he set at Madison Square Garden in 2020. In his history-making concert, Burna Boy sold out the 19,000 capacity TD Arena Garden in Boston as part of the stops for his I Told Them tour that has already grossed $11.6 million from 11 reported shows of the 22 stops. Burna Boy's history-making feat is a testament to his status as the leading African artist globally. Since breaking into the international scene in 2018 with his hit single Yay, Burna Boy has achieved unprecedented success for an African artist. And finally, on Friday, the managing director of the Nigeria Film Corporation, Ali Nuhu, recently paid a courtesy visit to the executive director of the National Film and Video Censors Board, Shaibu Hussaini. Newsman reported that the star actor visited Shaibu in his office in Abuja. It was further gathered that the two chief executives spent time discussing how to move the entertainment landscape forward. Nuhu and Shaibu have agreed to collaborate in taking the Nigerian film industry to a greater height. Nuhu and Shaibu have been major stakeholders on the Nigerian film scene, with each of them contributing to the development of the industry in different capacities. While Nuhu is a celebrated actor, director, and producer, Shaibu is a film critic, writer, and member of the judges of Africa Movie Academy Awards, AMAA. And that's it on Biscon Television News Roundup. I'm Stella Opara. Thank you for staying with us.
The Daily Momodu Leadership Lecture Series cordially invites you to the inaugural Daily Momodu Leadership Lecture. Are Daily Momodu is honored to present the inaugural Daily Momodu Lecture on his 64th birthday. The inaugural Daily Momodu Leadership Lecture, Intelligent Discourse. Topic: The Politics of Energy and the Way Forward. Speaker: Professor Bartholomew Naji, former Minister of Power, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Date is Thursday, May 16th, 2024. Time 10 a.m. Venue: the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs, Kofu Abayomi Street, Victoria Island, Lagos. Under the distinguished chairmanship of the former President of the Federal Republic of Ghana, His Excellency Dr. John Dramani Mahama. The Daily Momodu Leadership Lecture is a gathering of intellectuals for the discovery of innovative ideas and exchange of progressive knowledge under a non-partisan atmosphere. See you all there.
You are cordially invited to the 3rd Annual Choir Festival with the theme, Messiah My Father. The Choir Festival will feature the winner of the 2023 edition, New Wine Assemble, the host choir, Tabernacle Choir, other competing choirs, and several observant choirs. Star prize, 3 million naira. Second prize, 1.5 million naira. Third prize, 1 million naira. 10 observant choirs get 250,000 naira each, totaling 10 million naira, plus other consolation prizes and winners in other categories. Date is Sunday, 16th June 2024. Time 12 noon prompt. Venue: Abraham Tabernacle, Oba Irinwale Road, GRA, Shagamu, Ogun State. Chief host: His Excellency Otumba Engineer Benga Daniel, FNSC, FAENG, the Ashiwaju of Remo Christians. The Choir Festival, improving the art of singing in our churches.
Hello, I'm Bimbo Oloyede. For almost 50 years, I've had the rare privilege of connecting with you, either at live events or through your TV screens, but you probably know me more as a news anchor. I want to seize the opportunity of my 70th birthday to raise 100 million naira for cancer research and the treatment of cancer patients in public hospitals. Cancer doesn't care, you see. It doesn't care about age or size or gender or complexion or organ. It simply strikes. Anytime, any day, anywhere. I have lost a daughter, a nephew, a brother, a niece, a cousin, an aunt, and my husband. I don't have to go into any more detail. It's enough to say that cancer claimed all of them. But at least during those trying times, I received help. Will you help me to facilitate research? Will you support this fundraising drive to provide items that every patient can use, no matter their financial status? I am convinced that I must do something significant to make life more comfortable for cancer patients. But I know that I can't do this alone. Our target is 100 million naira. So please don't wait for my fundraising team to approach you. People need your help now. The account name and the details are displayed on your screen. Please help me raise 100 million naira for cancer research and the treatment of cancer patients in public hospitals. Let them receive treatment with dignity and with hope. I am Bimbo Luide, and I thank you.
Amidst the anticipation surrounding the forthcoming 64th coronation and 90th birthday anniversaries of Alailua Oba Dr. Sikiru Kayode Adetona, CFR JP, the Awujale and paramount ruler of Ijebu-Ode, a distinguished press conference convened under the auspices of the Central Planning Committee of the anniversary program at the illustrious Alailua Palace in Ijebu-Ode, Ogun State, on Friday, May 3rd, 2024. The gathering was graced by eminent personalities, including Otumba Dr. Adekunle Hassan, the chairman of the Central Working Committee, Chief Uluwarunti Oshifeso, chairman of the Entertainment Committee, Ambassador Otumba Shegun Akinsoya, Otumba Giwa Adesoya. Also present were Taiwo Mabeweje, media consultant to the governor of Ogun State, and Mr. Wole Olanrewaju, NUJ chairman of Ogun State. Chief Dr. Fasiu Adetokunbo, serving as the moderator, warmly welcomed all attendees and provided a succinct outline of the day's agenda.
I'd like to welcome you to the Heritage Hall of Awujale Palace, Afin Awujale, Ijebu-Ode, venue of the press conference to herald the 90th birthday celebrations and to take a glimpse back at the 64th coronation anniversary of our amiable monarch, Oba Dr. S.K. Adetono, Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic, Justice of the Peace.
Dr. Adekunle Hassan, in his capacity as the chairman of the Central Working Committee, extended a hearty welcome to the conference participants. He delivered an insightful citation, delving into the remarkable life and impactful contributions of Alailua Oba Dr. Sikiru Kayode Adetona, Awujale and paramount ruler of Ijebu-Land.
On behalf of my colleagues, I welcome you to the palace of our naval monarch, Oba Dr. Sikiru Kayode Adetona, CFR JP. Today's press conference is aimed at furnishing you with information on the activities marking the 64th coronation anniversary and the 90th birthday of the world's longest reigning paramount monarch, Oba Dr. Sikiru Kayode Adetona. He was 64 years old on the throne of his forefather on April 2nd, 2024, and on May 10, 2024, he will be 90 years old. Oba Adetona is a patriot and nationalist of highest order. The Awujale and paramount ruler of Ijebu-Land was officially crowned on April 2, 1960, 6 months before the country's attainment of independence.
A segment was then dedicated to fielding questions from journalists and other attendees, after which the panelists responded with clarity, enriching the discourse with additional valuable insights. Concluding the conference, Tayo Mabeweje conveyed a vote of thanks on behalf of the Central Planning Committee, expressing gratitude to all present for their invaluable contributions and participation. Subsequently, a Jumat service was solemnly observed at the Ijebu-Ode Central Mosque, where Awujale Oba Dr. Sikiru Kayode Adetona, CFR JP, was joined by esteemed dignitaries, including his distinguished Oluris and revered royal fathers from Ijebu-Land. Notable figures such as Olurugun Dr. Sonny Kuku, the Ogbenioja of Ijebu-Land, Oba Abdulrazak Adenuba, the Ebumawe of Agoiwe. The Jumat prayers were led by Alhaji Mifatuddin Barigashin Ayobadejo, the Chief Imam of Ijebu-Ode Central Mosque. During his sermon, the Chief Imam eloquently recounted the biography of the Awujale, highlighting his profound influence, remarkable achievements, and enduring impacts. He then offered fervent prayers for the well-being of the Awujale, his kingdom, and the nation as a whole. The Jumat prayers concluded with a harmonious recitation from the Holy Quran, symbolizing a moment of unity and spiritual fulfillment, before attendees departed, carrying with them the spirit of reverence and solidarity. On the serene Sunday morning of May 5th, 2024, a momentous special Thanksgiving service resonated within the hallowed halls of the Cathedral Church of Our Savior, Itanowu Joda in Ijebu-Ode, Ogun State. This sacred gathering was convened in honor of two remarkable milestones in the life of Alayeluwa Oba Dr. Sikiru Kayode Adetona, CFR, his forthcoming 90th birthday and his 64th year on the revered throne as the Awujale and paramount ruler of Ijebu-Ode. The service was officiated by a host of clergymen, led by the Diocesan Right Reverend Dr. Peter Rotimi Uludigbe, JP. At the helm of the solemn occasion stood an illustrious assembly of dignitaries. Among them were His Excellency Prince Dapo Abiodun, the Executive Governor of Ogun State, Engineer Noimot Salako Oyedele, the Deputy Governor of Ogun State, Otumba Senator Gbenga Daniel, former Governor of Ogun State and current Senator representing Ogun East Senatorial District, Mr. Tokunbo Talabi, the Secretary to the State Government of Ogun State, Prince Bisi Olatilo, Chairman and CEO of Biscon Communications, Olurugun Dr. F. Sonny Kuku, Ogbenioja of Ijebuland, Taiwo Afolabi, and the host of other distinguished personalities. The service unfolded with a processional hymn, accompanied by a soul-stirring session of praise and worship.
We are serving Him with gladness, not serving Him grudgingly. We are serving Him joyfully. We must serve Him because our existence is not accidental. Our existence is providential. We must serve Him unconditionally. We must serve God without any strings attached. Because of His preservation, we must serve God. Because of His grace, we must serve God. Because of His unmerited favor, we must serve God. Because of His mercy, because of His protection. There are many things we cannot do as human beings. But because God is always with us, we must reciprocate His loving kindness and goodness to us and serve Him at all times and in all places. When you serve God joyfully, it is a blessing. The reward is sure. Serving, they go together. They are the same. Finally, as a nation, we need national rebirth, and it must begin with the family through inculcation of values, virtues of truth, equity, and fairness. In our country today, we have lost that. And I want to challenge each and every, declare positively for your life. Let your life be theocentric, God-centered.
The pinnacle of the service was the 90th birthday and coronation thanksgiving of Alailua Oba Dr. Sikiru Kayode Adetona, CFR, embraced fervently by the entire congregation. Following this, impassioned prayers were lifted for the Awujale, his cherished family, his kingdom, Ogun State, and Nigeria, led by the Right Reverend Dr. Pete's heartfelt felicitations on behalf of the people of Ogun State. He extolled the Awujale as a phenomenal monarch, attributing his reign's resounding success to his incorruptible leadership and unwavering commitment to serving his nation and the Ijebu people.
Baba, from all we know and from all accounts that we've heard today, even from the Venerable Bishop himself, is a philanthropist of immeasurable proportions. Baba is a giver. Baba is a mentor. Kabiyesi represents the beauty and candor of the ancestral heritage of Ijebu people. His passion, professorial chair in governance in the Department of Political Science of Olabisi Onabanjo University at Galway. This initiative has led and given birth to the establishment of the world-class Oba Sikiru Adetona School of Governance, the first of its kind in sub-Saharan Africa.
Governor Abiodun warmly recounted personal interactions with the revered monarch, highlighting his indelible achievements and enduring legacies.
Baba indeed has what I call an elephantine memory. I continue to relish and enjoy on time I spend with him, just drinking from his wealth of wisdom, as he recounts the journey of his life with exact dates and days. Baba, I'm saying father to his biological children and many of us who are not his biological children, his grandchildren. Baba's life is a tapestry of impact in all spheres of human endeavor. Baba is a champion, a leader, a conqueror. His excellent and remarkable service to his people and country is exemplary.
The solemn service concluded with fervent prayers, a solemn benediction, and recessional hymn, echoing the spirit of gratitude and reverence that permeated the remarkable day.
Distinguished colleagues, I'd like to welcome you to the Heritage Hall of Awujale Palace, Afin Awujale, Jebode, venue of the press conference to herald the 90th birthday celebrations and to take a glimpse back at the 64th coronation anniversary of our amiable monarch, Alailua, about Dr. Please come back from silence. About Dr. S.K. Adetono, Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic, Justice of the Peace. We have been waiting, but we do understand the challenge or the challenges we are facing. So I'd like to start by introducing this of us on this side, and subsequent is a gentleman to the call, and we are exposing him to the world. Otherwise, he would have loved practicing his trade, his profession. But this is a duty that has been put on him by the nation, by the Ijebu nation. His name, you must have heard a lot about him, but he's quiet, he's on the low side, doesn't want to be seen. You can hear about his activities. He's an Otumba of Awujale, and he's a prominent citizen of this country. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Otumba Adekunle Azan. Of course, most of you have heard about I Foundation. That's the founder and the chairman. Our chairman is the chairman of the Central Working Committee. We really want to address you this morning. We are just around to support him because we don't want to leave him alone. To his immediate left is another juggernaut, a man of means. When you talk about money, he has it. When you need food, you need to be entertained on that day. Please, my honorable, our number one citizen in Ijebu, Ode. He's one of you. When he removes that gap as a politician, he will come back. What have you? Ambassador Otumba Shegun Akisu. My own dear bro. It's Otumba Giwa Adesoya Yusuf. And your chief servant, the Chief Dr. Fasi Adetokunbo Yusuf, anchoring. Good morning. So the chairman of NGO, I'll hand over to you.
Good morning once again, sir. From this side, we want to medium you are actually representing, and after the delivery of the content, if you have any, please feel free to join and introduce yourself again while you are trying to.
To hand over the mic to the chairman of the Central Working Committee. He has a prepared test. We are going to send them electronically to you because we have a paperless society now. That is why we requested for your email and WhatsApp details. Mr. Chairman, sir.
Thank you very much. Distinguished gentlemen of the press, on behalf of my colleagues, I welcome you to the palace of our naval monarch, about Dr. Sikiru Kayode Adetomo, CFR JP. Today's press conference is aimed at furnishing you with information on the activities marking the 64th coronation anniversary and the 90th birthday of the world's longest reigning paramount monarch, Oba Dr. Sikiru Kayode Adetomo. He was 64 years old on the throne of his forefather on April 2nd, 2024, and on May 10, 2024, he will be 90 years old. Oba Adetono is a patriot and nationalist of highest order. The Awujale and paramount ruler of Ijebuland was officially crowned on April 2, 1960, 6 months before the country's attainment of independence. His coronation, including the presentation of staff of office, was performed by the Premier Western Region, Chief Samuel Ladoke Akintola, and witnessed by unprecedented crowd, including Nigerian leader of opposition, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, and Ijebu notables. A monarch like no other, he bestrides the traditional institution like a colossus. His reign has been a monumental success and a pride to the Ijebu of southwest Nigeria. The several tribulations they faced up to 1984 notwithstanding, he personified the attributes of Ijebu that includes strength of character, omoluabi, fierce and sturdy independence, candor, objectivity, sincerity, entrepreneurial spirit, reliability, and resoluteness. By a letter dated January 4, 1960, reference CV 41/333, the permanent secretary in the Western Region Minister of Local Government conveyed to the local government advisor in Ijebu the approval of the Western Region Governor in Council, the appointment of Prince Sikiru Kayode Adetono as the Awujale of Ijebuland, with effect from the date January 4, 1960. It became the Lord of Ijebu notables like the late Ogbeni Oja, Chief Dr. Timothy Adeola Odutola, Babashua Chief Emmanuel Okusanya Okunowo, and Ashwaju Chief Samuel Olatunbo Sunshonibare to arrange for the homecoming of King-elect. On January 18, 1960, the head of the Ijebu Regency Council, the Ogbeni Oja, Chief Timothy Adeola Odutola, formally presented the new traditional ruler to the old world at his wedding for the presidency of the House of Chiefs. An older Oba, late Sir Adesoji Adiremi Oni of Ife, was eventually elected a president. As if confirming the aphorism that a golden fish has no hiding place, the new Awujale was appointed by the Western Region government as a minister and a member of the Regional Executive Council. This position he occupied on the outbreak of the Western Region political crisis of 1962. With the declaration of a state of emergency in the Western Region by the federal government, the administrator of the region, Dr. Moses Adekoyijo Majekodomi, found the service of the young Awujale indispensable, and he was made a commissioner under the emergency period. Since 1960, Oba Adetono has succeeded in raising the status and reckoning of his Ijebu people. He is known and perceived as one of the country's greatest monarchs, dead or alive, a philosopher and a social engineer, a thoroughbred and incorruptible monarch. His fame and popularity extend beyond the shores of Nigeria. A creative and strategic ruler, Oba Adetono has been a significant factor in the nation's socio-political and economic development growth. The Awujale is loyally and devotedly committed to the Nigerian state. He is indeed a patriot. He has built bridges across rivers, Niger and Benue. He admonishes his people to be thoroughly bred wherever they find themselves. No wonder the Ijebu people have not only comported themselves wherever they are, but it's on record that no inter or intra-ethnic clash has been recorded in Ijebu land since he ascended the throne in 1960. He was in the forefront of finding a national solution to the political logjam of 1993 to 1998. Oba Adetono consulted widely and hosted several fora. He was never a sellout. He broke peace and Accord in 1998 and 1999. And the current major actor in the nation's political parties will readily attest to this disclosure. It should be stated without equivocation that spoils of office cannot corrupt the monarch. He is just, transparent, and equitable. Obadeton unloads any indecency and malfeasance. He eschews corruption like the plague. He has been known as to chastise corrupt leaders and to quite often to publicly denounce them. Obadeton, to paraphrase Joshua Gaber Haller 1918 to 1881, is one leader who the lust of office does not kill, a leader whom the spoil of office cannot buy, a monarch who possesses opinion and a will, a king who has honor, who will not lie, a legend that's always stood before a demagogue and damned his treasurers, flattering without winking. That every successful administration of the state